Okay, welcome back. It's Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka SGIB Magazine. It stands for Soldier God Intends to Believe That, and everyone should be so something. Speaking of which, this is Howard. He was the owner of Stone Hedge, and this is my hosting, him allowing me to do a pool competition. Well, I'm sorry, I won. But God bless Howard. Howard let me do whatever it is I want to do in this club, and it's because of him the magazine was financed for a few issues, and I would have a racket put in his a bar. So it was kind of cool. It was kind of, thank you, Howard. This is J. Anthony Brown. I interviewed J. Anthony Brown, funny man, J. Anthony Brown. I can't really read these, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to. Let me see. No, I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to read this because it's resonated. J. Anthony Brown was on this cover. This one is Sharia. Sharia is on this cover here. 40 Cal was on this one too as well. Chris Curry was in this, and So You Want. Wannabes, are you one? Oh, not Chris. This one has Wannabes and Are You One? And some people get offended when you tell them, hey, are you a wannabe, right? You know, and someone might get offended by that, but no, actually, we all want to be something. There's no shame in being a wannabe, you know. So at least you're pursuing something, you know. So you know, but anyway, that was on that one. Who else is on here? Sharia. I can't again. I'm not gonna try. 40 Cal was a good interview. Again, this is Johnny Lee Hooker. We kind of went through this issue here with Reggie. Okay, this was one that I did for Marcus, who I just spoke with him previously. This is with Dirty Black. His name is Dirty Black. A lot of these artists, I still listen. They're on my playlist because there's nothing like, for me, listening to music of people who I know, people who I had the pleasure of, you know. So he was on this. This is one of the articles here, Trinidad and Roy Jones fight that I covered in Madison Square Garden. There was a movie out called, oh man, I wish I could read the name of it. But I went to a movie premiere in Los Angeles, and I reviewed the movie. Dirty Black was very, very cool. His sound was, I'm trying to remember the lyrics, but Dirty Black was on this issue here. And it's 104 for 2008. New Industry Magazine. Speaking above the law, this is Above the Law. This is oh my God, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name. Hatch, no. Hatch or those of you who know gangster rap, you'll know Hutch. This is Hutch. See, I'm not getting as old as people think. I still have my faculties, and I still can remember. I still can have a good recall if I just take the time. You know, sometimes I don't. I'm trying to get my leg out here. Sometimes I don't get frustrated when I don't remember something. I just wait, and eventually it comes to me. Just like if I'm thinking something, I say, "Oh, I forgot what I was going to say," and everybody say, "Wait, stop putting pressure on me. Let's go on. I'll get it. I'll tell you when it comes back to me." But Hutch was one of the gangster raps during Eazy-E days. This is Marcus Miller. I speak of these people, and here they are. Of course, I laid it all out, but it's interesting. This is Marcus Miller. Marcus Miller is one of the biggest promoters in Los Angeles. All the major things. In fact, the last time I was in LA, he pulled me on into the studio for the remixing of the soundtrack Straight Outta Compton. And I'm in the studio with these guys laying down the track of Straight Outta Compton. I interviewed him. This is somewhere on my YouTube channel. And of course, Marcus, that gives me access to those, and he gives me access to artists no matter where I'm at. You know, if I'm in New York, he gives me artists, you know, from Las Vegas. If I'm in Las Vegas, he gives me artists from Los Angeles. If I'm in Los Angeles, he's giving me artists when I'm in Arizona. You know, Marcus has his hand on the pulse. It was him who said, Gerard, what's his name? Drake was, they want somebody to put together the after show for Drake. I said, okay, sounds good. He said, Gerard, you just got to make sure it can hold a minimum of 1,500 people. It's going to cost $40,000, $20,000 at the signing of the contract. Birdman wants $20,000 cash on the floor between his feet before he get out. Those of you know, Birdman is, you know, the manager of Drake, Lil Wayne, and a number of artists. So I thought maybe, okay, they said, Gerard, we don't care. You can have the tickets. They're all sold on Ticketmaster. He says, they all sell out. Tickets go for $75 each. You can have all that. You can bring on whoever you want. He says you can promote whatever you want. It was a dream come true. I said, wow. So you think I wasn't on the grind to try to get that $40,000? In fact, I put an additional $10,000 on there, because this way, when they got the down payment of $30,000, I was going to keep $10,000, and this allowed me to keep going. This is what we're talking about. The money is in after party. You want to do an after party? After party is where the money's at. So anyway, what happened was that I found a real estate cat. Let me tell you something about real estate cats. Real estate cats have the money that they want to buy themselves into the industry. Even when I was with Bonnie back in the day, there was a real estate cat who was back in a group and all this stuff like this or whatever, you know, because they had the money. So there's one real estate cat who I worked with. His name was Anderson. I can't remember his first name off the top, but it comes to me. I told him about it, and he said, yeah, he wanted to come aboard. But from previous businesses and ventures that he had, I had his group come all the way out to Los Angeles to perform for Bonnie Hilton Sweeney's pre-Grammy party that they love doing. And so he was also a womanizer. And his wife, one time I was in a bar, and she drove a Mercedes up on a sidewalk to go inside of a bar and pound him out because he was with a girl. And I'm pulling her off. She said, Janet, you can't do this. Come on out. I said, my God, Janet, the cops are going to come. You don't need this. So I got her back out in her Mercedes, and she drove off. Winston Anderson. See, I told you. So anyway, he wanted to come aboard, and Janet said no. Now, I'm happy. If you go to my YouTube channel, go to SGIBmagontv / the G-spot, you will see doing my happy dance. My happy dance was, I was happy that I got somebody to put up the money. I was happy. I'm going to do this thing, and whatever I want to do in a strip club, something different, but I couldn't find one that would hold 1,500 people. So anyway, it fell through. I didn't get the money. But see, God is good, because that was the same after party that Drake threw a bottle at, I don't know what Chris Brown, because they were fighting over, I don't know, Brianna or some girl like this, and the whole fight broke out, and they shut the club down. They shut it down. And the promoter probably lost his shirt, or probably still tied up in court trying to get his money back. You know, because I know I would not want to have been a promoter where Chris Brown and Drake were fighting and caused the club to shut down. So that was a blessing in disguise. But that's the type of caliber stuff that Marcus would shoot to me. Okay, right here is Kocaine. Kocaine is one of the early pioneers against the rap. This is him with his entourage. You probably get an idea. Oh boy, she's a very pretty girl. You know, let me see. This is a cover here that I had LL Cool J on the cover. This was on assignment at Long Island's Music Hall of Fame. Bayshore's LL Cool J. A lot of people want to argue where he's from or whatever like this, from Brooklyn or whatever it is, but I answer, I finally got a chance. LA, where are you from? I'm from Bayshore. Where I'm from. so anyway, it's like, okay, cool. He got an award. In this issue, I had Public Enemy, I had Chuck D, The Tokens, Felix Caballero of the Rascals. Let me see. On assignment at the 3rd Annual Magazine Help Make a Dream Come True Award, where honored Timothy Wilson. Timothy Wilson was my artist. Him and I had planned, after we had this event in Las Vegas, that was the reason why I came to Las Vegas, that we were going to, he was retiring, I was going to come here to the Philippines to dry out, and we were going to go to Europe. We're going to tour in Europe. But the event collapsed. I ended up with a nervous breakdown in the hospital. Lost all my money and etc. And the rest is very checkered. But eventually, I pulled myself up. There's no shame in falling. The shame is not getting back up. But Timothy Wilson, when I went back to New York last year to distribute Filipino Soul magazine, I found out that he had passed away. And it was sad. So in this issue, I dedicated the article to in memorial of Timothy Wilson. So you want to read that one. Okay, this is Maxine Brown again. This is her at my 2017 Lifetime Achievement Award went to Miss Maxine Brown. This is the cover for that. This was the journal portion of it. And so Maxine Brown was, I forgot what song she sung, but Google her. You'll see what type of performer she was and what type of caliber of artist that she is, and her body of work. This is Chuck D. Chuck D holding my magazine. That was at the Hip Hop Honor Awards, Long Island Hip Hop Music Awards. This is Daryl from Run DMC. This is me interviewing Christopher North, who was also there. No, this is my interviewing Christopher North at the closing of The Cutting Room. The Cutting Room was a place in Lower Manhattan that was the place to go to. Of course, not only was owned Christopher North, but there was, this is the VH1 Fashion Awards. Long Island Hip Hop Honor Awards. One of the two. I interviewed him. No, this was the final night at the Cutting Room. So Christopher North I interviewed. This is LL Cool J and Grandmaster Flash, who were taking questions. Of course, no one had questions. The only one that really had questions was me. Everybody just sat around kind of talked without him. I don't know anything about hip hop, but I know where I can ask you what advice you would give about following your dreams and your goals. Would you give advice for longevity? I found out someone was talking about, out of all the black artists, actors in the world, they kill off. But one black artist that they don't kill off, and that's LL Cool J. They said even one movie he got killed, but it wasn't for sure if he was killed or not because they planned to bring him back in the sequel. LL Cool J, you may not know, the reason why you always see him with his hat on, because he had a scar up here that he received in his childhood. And so he always been wear the hats to cover that scar on his forehead. This is the Persuaders. One year I gave the Persuaders a Lifetime Achievement Award. The Persuaders did It's a Thin Line Through Love and Hate. They are known as a transitory group. That means they were members, but they were always adding and replacing and moving like this. And Richard here is one of the original members of the Persuaders. He wrote A Thin Line Through Love and Hate, and this one came on, the next one. But this one here, I think his name is also Richard. This is Tony Showtime Rally. Tony Showtime Rally was that deep voice. They loved the way Tony Showtime Rally, who by the way worked in a shoe store, women's shoes, putting on shoes. We all have to do something. It's not all about the stage. But I gave them a Lifetime Achievement Awards that they were very, very happy to receive, and very glad that they got it. And but then the money passed away. Richard passed away. And I forgot someone had told me, he said, Gerard, that was the happiest thing that ever happened to him, was getting that Lifetime Achievement Award from S.G.I.B magazine. So it's good to be positive or be able to contribute positively to any and everyone, regardless of what walk of life they're in. That's why I don't shun anybody. You know, I'll talk to the person on the street. You know, I can talk to the person in the penthouse. You know, there are no lines when it comes to who I would approach and talk to, because you know why? They all have a story to tell. This is Vonnie Hilton Sweeney giving a Lifetime Achievement Award to the OJs. So this is you can say, what else does more to say? The OJs had agreed to come to the reunion that I was doing in Las Vegas. It was called Vonnie Hilton's pre-Grammy party reunion. The OJs had just put out the last project, and they had agreed to come and do a couple of songs. Charlie Wilson was on the fence about coming, and there were a lot of people who were coming. Janae Dubois, well, I think Janae might have been out of town, but anyway, there were people. Majestic. If you don't know who Majestic is, every time when Katherine Jackson was going into court, the arm that she was on Majestic. Majestic said, he loved Vonnie as much as I do. He said, yes, we'll come. Someone else said Jackson was a staple to Vonnie Hilton Sweeney's programming party. But that's her giving an award to the OJs. This is where I had started doing Filipino Soul magazine. As you can see, I did the same thing that I did with SGIB magazine. I went to the Senor, my Senor, mi Senor, to, you can see different things inside the letters, the GP and what have you, to Manila. So it had that same flavor as I had with SGIB magazine. And of course this one had the Temptations, the Four Tops, Charlie Murphy, the Mary Jane Girls, L.J. Reynolds of the Dramatics, Lamont McLemore, founder of the Fifth Dimension, and the Duke, Abdul Duke of the Four Tops. This magazine took several years for me to do because I was going through my trials and tribulations. But I knew that I had to put this magazine out. That's why for a long time on my Facebook you saw the picture of right here, the Temptations up there. Because I know I could not move forward until I able to get this magazine out and share it with those who were in it. And share it with those who were in it. And I was so grateful that once I got here to the Philippines, I was able to focus and put this magazine out. And yes, they got it. They got it via through the internet. If there's a group that you should join, and that's called Temptations Forever with Maurice. So if you get a chance, add that group to your list of groups. It's very good. Okay, and again, parental advisory, inspirational contents. And of course, this is me in Korea, holding the magazine. That's my brother. Okay, Yurik and Nina, who were like my Russian family. Let me see. Should I go further? Oh yes. Okay. This is Filipino Soul here. It was a big coup to get Salvador Pina, Duterte's legal counsel. In fact, he was just in the papers yesterday regarding the ICC, the International Criminal Court, and why it is useless. Why Philippines don't need to be a part of it. Not only that, it serves its purpose of wanting to indict other leaders for crimes that they consider crimes against humanity. and those sitting on that court, on that board, should consider prosecuting themselves, like the United States. Don't you think it's crime against humanity of what they're doing to black people in the United States? Don't you think that's a human rights violation? Don't get me started. What he's doing in his country, people support it. You may not, but the people there support it. I've asked people in the streets, how do you feel? Oh, we love him. And it's not a matter of being afraid that you're going to be, swept up the street somewhere like Korea or China, North Korea or China, and be put in some concentration camp because you go against the establishment. It's not like that at all. People see the difference. What's happening with him. Him dropping taxes for anyone making under 10, 20,000 pesos a month. And those businesses making 50,000 pesos a month less drop their taxes like about 40%. I mean, come on, man. He is doing. In fact, the Republican Army or something like that has been a thorn in the Philippine side for over 40 years, and they are finally, they're saying, look. What are you accomplishing? You have not accomplished anything except kidnap, except murder, except mayhem. Don't you think it's time for you to put your weapons down and come back home to your families? He even made an avenue. Look, if some of you want to become part of the policing, come part of the army. If you qualify, come. But you don't need to continue being a thorn. I mean, your cause is no cause at all. Other than just say I'm against. Come on. But anyway, the point of the matter is that here in the Philippines they like him. So and the reason they backed out of the International Criminal Court was because someone from the UN or from the EU made a surprise visit and took a grandstand somewhere about his human right violation for drug dealers and something like this. And President Duterte was pissed. He was pissed. He said, how can you come to my country unannounced and then want to take a grandstand and then accuse, of something that is still an investigation? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so he was pretty upset about that. In fact, in the papers it said, don't fuck with me, girl. What I'm saying? That's how he speaks. But anyway, I was happy to have also Bembo, who is the cashing in on Cebu Siberian Huskies breeder, and I also want to mention on Sunday I get mines, and guess what? The girl's got blue eyes. Helen, I'll be getting Helen on Sunday. You'll see it. She'll be part of the family. Interviewing him. My dentist, Marguerite. Marguerite was a dentist who I met, and when I was in a chair, I asked her, what made you become a dentist? And she told me the story that when she was a little girl and she was sitting in a dentist chair, the dentist got a phone call, and he answered the phone, or talking to his assistant, and they were debating on how much to bet on a cockfight. And this little girl was sitting in a chair with all the stuff in her mouth, and she said she started crying. But she said, I'll get back at this. I'm going to become a dentist and do the same thing to you. Well, she became a dentist. And I guess in her heart of hearts, she realized that revenge should be left up to God. But she made a commitment to be a lot more compassionate to her patients. And again, whatever motivates you to pursue your dream and your goal, use that motivation to do it. She did it. Her motivation was out of revenge, but she became a dentist. This magazine also had a boxing and trainer, the trainer, the championship creator. This had Roger Mayweather in there. Roger Mayweather is the uncle to Floyd Mayweather, who who trained Floyd from the beginning, and still trains with him today at his gym, where they train others on becoming boxers. And so he was also in this article. And let's see who else. Well, there are a number of other things in there. Also, the graphic artist Dave, who designed the graphic there, and of course, what advice they would give about following their dreams and their goals, and also this model here called Marielle. Now, Marielle, I wanted to photograph Filipino models. You know, I got 3 models, but Marielle ended up being on the cover. And she's part of my promotional team whenever we go and talk. And she's, you know, I can't fully express to you how she feels, because I can just explain to you how her reaction was when she saw herself on the cover of the magazine, simply because I don't speak the language. But I know it means a lot to her. She texts me all the time, you know, and, you know, just to say thank you. And, you know, I mean, my God, she's such a lovely, lovely little girl. And so that's on that issue. Let me see. This issue here has, this is the cover of the issue that's coming out. This is called The Feminist of Rock. Now, The Feminist of Rock, it says rock will never be the same. This is Bella. Bella's here. And they play a lot of the classic rocks with electric instruments, violin, cello, and etc. This one says a special tribute to Timmy Lee Wilton and Greg Austin, who's also in Las Vegas, who has the Motown show there. And hopefully we get Bobby Humphrey to check in, the First Lady of Blues. There's Bobby Humphrey there. This is me on the board of the ISA Art Council. That's Linda Moran. She was director. Kathy, I love Kathy. You know, and I got another time. Myself and Bobby Humphrey. Okay, and that's it. That's it. So, speaking of the man, President Duterte, I'm going to click through this and see if there's anything else of interest. Okay, no, we're back to the beginning. Okay, so I want to thank you for allowing me to take this time to go through the magazine and kind of give you a little history. The one cover that's missing, let me see if I can find it for you real quick before we go. So this way you'll be able to see that one too as well. I didn't add it on there because it probably came about a little later. Here it is. Let me see. Covers. Okay, cover. And let me see. Let's see if I find the I want to find the actual cover. I don't see it. I'm trying to come out this way. Oh, no. Let me see. Okay. I'll tell you what. Let me do it this way. Let me try one more place and then I'm going to let you go. Remember, this is Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul magazine. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly and always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see your vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. I'm living good today. I hope you guys are too. Okay. Give it a moment to come out. Okay. Okay, here it is. This is the cover here. And these are the two covers, the one I just talked to you about. And this is the cover here that's coming out also on the back of Feminist Soul. This one has On Assignment with 3 of the lady boys of Cebu. And this is the one that got a lot of flack. That got I've been canceled, as well as my Facebook, but mostly because of this. And it's unfortunate because you know, it's just I understand the Filipino culture. I truly do. I understand that it's still under a Catholic, heavily influenced in a lot of its decisions. Even in music, you won't see a lot of the gyrating that you would see from artists like in America. In fact, there are beaches here now who are condemning bikinis, can no longer wear bikinis on the beach, or a lot of clearly dressed attire on the beaches because they want to maintain the sanctity of their culture, and that's fine. That's fine. That's what I love about the Philippines. I mean, there's something about not having things thrust into your face, and you making a decision to go somewhere if you want to see that, then it being forced upon you, and sometimes cultures are forced upon you. Okay, anyway, while I have this open, let me show you. This is Chrissy and her mother, Ellen Bayou. Both of them are 2 talented artists. Ellen is signing to a 3-year contract, and Chrissy's just adorable. And of course, that's me with that shot there. And of course, Diamond is still a representative for Filipino Soul magazine. Okay, all right. So anyway, with that being said, if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ali Winston once sung, treat her like a lady. If you're lucky enough, ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man, make him feel like a king. And I'll always love you more. I'll talk to you later. Peace. Love you like a love song, baby. Hope you enjoy this little journey. I'm going to be taking you on another journey of my work. Peace.